smell it? That smell. The kind of smelly smell. A smelly smell that smells smelly.
If I were to do an animal show, what would I do? Not one about bunnies or dogs and cats. It would be about these sea animals that I really like, and somehow all that information sort of collided into one thing. SpongeBob.
It's not about winning, it's about fun.
Shalom, everybody. Welcome back to A.S.K. Hold on, everybody. My producer's calling me. One sec. Yeah, hello?
Good morning, sweet prince. How are you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Good. How's the wife?
Oh, the wife's fantastic.
I don't care how your wife is. You've had the same old character still since September of 2018. People are getting tired of it. You've used them to the max. How about a change?
I'd love to change my stills, but I just don't have the money for that right now.
Look at your wrist.
What the frick? An Omnitrix?
You can take it on from here, my son. I believe in you.
Alright, but there's only one transformation here. What do I... Alright, here goes. Whoa, this is a cool new body. I feel like I just lost 20 pounds, and I love these new glasses. Wait, I have legs? Alright, so enough shenanigans before we get into this video, and trust me, it's a big one. I wanted to make a gigantic thank you and shout out to my artist friend Chess for designing this avatar, and my good buddy Loco Bandit for creating these two ones. You may have noticed them in my last video and in my new profile picture on my channel. Yup, this is permanent, and just for the record, the ones I used for the last 3 years were made by Love and Lovely on DeviantArt. All these wonderful people will be linked below, so go and pay your respects, thank them, like all their stuff, like their toes, whatever you need to do, just nothing bad, and just let them know I sent you. After my 5-year anniversary a few weeks back, as well as over 3 years of using these avatars here, I've decided to create something new and use your fan arts as character stills in videos. But because I don't currently have a full bundle set of all the stills yet, I can always appreciate any artist hitting me up and talking about all that. If you think you can draw in this style or something similar, DM me on Twitter or Discord, and I'd love to feature your art in future videos. But for right now, I think this change fits well for my channel. With all that said, this is probably my biggest video I've ever made, so let's just jump right into it. Shalom, ladies and jellyfish. Welcome back to A.S.K.'s videos. Today, and possibly my biggest video yet, I'm going to be ranking every single SpongeBob SquarePants episode from seasons 1 through 12 in 10 words or less. That's right, after all my 10 words or less videos, I thought it might be fun to compile all my old reviews together, but make it a bit more interesting by ranking them from worst to best in the process. But since my old reviews lacked 2 of the ratings I later added, and the reviews themselves were pretty lame, I'm also going to remaster and rewrite all the first 5 seasons and some of the later seasons, so this becomes my ultimate brand new SpongeBob ranking video for 2021, with new editing, new sentences, new rankings, and new avatars. And you're going to want to watch till the end of the video, because not only did I do all that, after all the episodes are ranked, I'll also give a top and bottom 3 from each season, and then a top and bottom 10 from the whole show. As well, I'll compile all the season statistics and overall trends that the show's quality went through, and give some analysis and insight in terms of that. On top of all that, this video is chock full of cameos from some of my best YouTube buddies as a way to make it even more interesting. And obviously, if you're new to this series, it's very simple. I'll be taking every single episode of SpongeBob and reviewing them in 10 words or less, and rating them one of these ratings here: great, good, meh, bad, or boo. And since this is a very long video, you'll be happy to know that all the ratings and sentences are in an Excel sheet, which I've linked in the description below if you want to see my reviews at a glance. While I've made a lot of videos on SpongeBob, from my retrospective on its legacy and animation, to my countless movie and episode reviews, that game show, to all 12 seasons and a compilation of this very series, this video will top all of those, as this took well over a year to write, compile, and re-edit from scratch. So before we jump into the worst episode and painfully make our way from there, I'd like to remind you to please subscribe and hit the bell, and follow me on Twitter and join the Discord server to support me. And be sure to like and tell me any opinions you have, or even your rankings, given the YouTube comment system that only allows so many characters, of course, in the comments down below. With that said, this has been in the works since early 2020, and we've got 509 episodes to rank, so with no further ado, let's jump into every single SpongeBob episode ranked in 10 words or less. Despise is too nice a word for this. Some of the worst this series has to offer. Try again. Some of the worst garbage I've ever seen. Patrick needs to be seized and killed immediately. I'm done with Patrick at this point. The world turning on SpongeBob is unjustified. At this point, I'm struggling to spare myself, and here we go.
So what can we ruin about Patrick this time?
The plot is way too messy. It's like you take great and you flip it. This one speaks, or shows, for itself. Haha, yeah, no. When hypocrisy comes up, this episode comes up too. No, I am not happy now.
Torturing baby Squidward is hilarious.
Whatever happened to the quality? More like Atlantis suck panis.
Let's write the script with paper plates and mustard.
These writers sure need some smarts.
Okay, story time. We make SpongeBob love the patty.
That sinking feeling indeed. But why? You've destroyed many of the characters I love. Should have picked truth. Touche. I hate everyone. Kelpie G. Can I strangle someone? Please? And I thought I was uncomfortable. I didn't make things, I judge things. They can't do one season right. Not one.
Road. Bored.
Unfunny, unsensical, ungood characters. Ungood. I actually hate SpongeBob for doing this for Patrick. Way too mean to SpongeBob as a character. Not to SquarePants was the better choice. Haha, screw you, episode. Why didn't she just shrink the reed?
Just filler with filler.
How can we make crabs even more flanderized? I've seen better. Much better. What a stupid disappointment. We get it, you really don't care.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
Phew, we're finally done with the booze. From here on, it gets slightly better, but we're still in the pits. Speaking of pits, today I washed my pits in the Fountain of Youth. To know more about that and everything I do during the hours of the day and prepubescent evening, follow me on Twitter. My handle is @Mr. I don't know why either. A.S.K was taken. The link is in the description, and if you do decide to follow me on Twitter and like and retweet every single one of my tweets, like the true minion you are, I'll award you with a shekel for all your troubles. Now shalom, my cruel mistress. Back to the ranking. Let's move on to the bads.
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Louder!
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Louder!
I'm ugly and I'm proud. I am ugly and I'm proud. I'm ugly and I'm proud.
When life gives you lemons, make a good episode. A bad episode for a simple reason. Just why? The grossest episode, except for the other one. Ravioli, be more originally. Ugh. 2 thumbs down indeed. A good attempt, but a butchered moral. Of course the 100th episode had to be bad. This episode has a lot of holes. This one didn't nail it for me.
A.S.K? What kind of ridiculous name is that?
The out of characterness in this is unbearable. Poor Squidward. Ravioli, be more originally. Who cares about this? A great plot, but poor Squidward. When Mr. Krabs gets flanderized to the point of dreams. How can we make a classic character unlikable? The bored one is what they called me. Why do all Gary episodes suck? Just disgusting. Just why? Racial discrimination comments coming in 3, 2, 1. Sandy's narrating was completely unnecessary. More like 2.5 not stars. Let's take Patrick Smartpants and rehash it. It could have at least been a good. These writers still don't get it, do they? A cool premise, but execution was really hard on Plankton. What is this?
back in my day.
When Zoo Service gets a cameo, you know it sucks. Coco Melon's titles were less clickbaity. Flanderization of flanderization, ladies and jellyfish.
Let's make an episode about everyone's pet peeve.
Not the best way to end off season 4. They really can't do a good Gary episode, can they? Ravioli, ravioli, be more originally. Extra, extra, Snorfest come to town. FLANDERIZATION. Ding. Let's make the only good thing about Gary bad. Just a friendly game, but without Squidward. You think an episode about clowns would be funny? Skip. I thought he ain't got no sister. It's like Graveyard Shift all over again. I think the title was misread from pet and pests. Kinda forgettable. This entire episode is pointless. Pointless!
Let's take Squeaky Boots and rehash it.
Wait, really? Boring, unfunny, and kind of a waste. This broke some kind of record. Don't look now, but it's a bad. Good puns, RIP. Take the world and drop it on Squidward's head. Slow and boring with some squid torture in there.
Cool.
Was this episode cut for time or something? Frustrating, but I did laugh a bit. Just repeat a dumb mantra. Repeat a dumb mantra. All that glitters is not this episode. An utter letdown on the writer's part.
Let's take yours, mine, and mine and rehash it.
We never thought Sanya would suck oxygen out of Pearl. Don't forget to read the plot. Lame schlame. Not memorable, clever, or unique in the slightest. When did the Garbage Pail Kids merge with the Grocery Gang? Just so boring. A lot of wasted potential. Filler God. Filler God. We have discovered the Filler God. Man, this episode really drives me to tears. Pretty boring and underhanded. Squeak one more time. Patrick needs to die.
Too bad that didn't kill me.
Now that I've ranked all the bads, we're going into the boring part, the mess. Yes, these are all the mediocre episodes that could have used a little something more, or just had a small annoying scene in them, or were just flat out boring and forgettable. Speaking of boring and forgettable, remember super reviews? I should really bring those back someday. Oh wait, that's a terrible idea. Let's move on to the meh.
I order the food, you cook the food, then the customer gets the food. We do that for 40 years, and then we die.
Does Patrick have a weird episode license too? That's one resilient piece of silverware right there. We need to make Krabs' whole wiener thing blow up. Quite the fiasco indeed. Everything is unjustified. A fun plot that shouldn't torture plankton. The shaman is the best. Weird cowheads? I don't ship it. Who lives in something actually funny under the sea? Overbooked plus abrasive side plus best day ever equals... Call the cops, this episode isn't too great. Fred's door knocker is a leg? Instant monkey punt, yeah. Wanna hear SpongeBob laugh infuriatingly for 11 minutes? Me neither. I slightly hate this episode. Light. I think this might be a reference to something. The food jokes just ruined the plot. That title is as clickbaity as a Vine compilation. This episode really needs to clamber out of mediocrity. They probably think I'm gullible too, don't they? Yeah, no. This is an episode? Not a lot of brains went into making this. Gotta love that darn metabolic fuel. Ravioli, ravioli, be more originally. I hate meh episodes hate me. The constant Gary meows are very annoying. Hey, it's like that other episode. About as memorable as a peanut. A cool reunion of the characters, but not much else. The first half is decent, the second not. What's that? That butterfly. Let's take Dying for Pie and rehash it. This reminds me of life insurance. I hated life insurance. Gotta love that title. Plankton should have just traded Krabs' wish for the formula. Oh yeah, this episode exists. One half is good, the other is bad. It's meh! The nightshirt is the most interesting thing in this. Obligatory Flying Dutchman. Squidward meeting Roger Bumpus is the best thing ever. The bogus business bureau got me. Pretty much the definition of a short. What do you say we teach the writers a lesson? Remove Krabs equals great. What a cop-out ending. I promised I would do this in 10 words or less, and I've partially fulfilled that promise. Certainly not the best episode ever. I love this new character. Idiot Friends is one of my favorite songs. I don't know how to feel about this one. That title doesn't apply to the episode quality. What a boring nightmare. Get it? This whole episode is a bummer.
Who are zoo? More like who are meh?
This one brings up more questions than it answers. I don't even know. Comic relief is the focus? Yeah, always works. Ironic, unfunny, and kinda lame. This is Rise and Shine done right.
Oh, please, make a good episode, oh, please.
Let's rehash a horrible season 5 romantic episode.
How can we copy Hooky again?
It's all Patrick's fault. All of it. I imagine a world with the perfect plot and sense. Debatable, but pretty funny. Boring and pointless, like my social life. I love Karen and Sandy together. I can't stop thinking about the handsome Squidward toy. Why is that even the title? I smell a lot of plot holes. Drive happy? More like drive meh. Let's make an episode of what gets on everyone's nerves. Let's start hating Mr. Krabs. I'll take a mediocre episode on a raft. Back when Patchy wasn't all that funny. We've done this shtick before. Bubble Bass works a lot better as a side character. Not the cleanest episode. I need plot. A little tedious, don't you think?
That was just a bunch of cheap walk cycles.
Many plot holes. Entertaining, but not too interesting. Ever wonder what was in Patrick's Rock 2? Yeah, let's move on. Looks like squid torture has been around forever. Would have been great without Krabs winning in the end. SpongeBob twerking is the highlight of this episode. Skip! It's like Rehash City. Squidward should have made an anti-sea bear circle. And for my first trick, I made the comedy disappear. Only like 2 minutes is actually decent. I like the sponge scene at least. I'm not gonna lie, I fell for Plankton there. Hey, at least Krabs is determined. Almost a metaphor for modern Nickelodeon. Have you noticed that this episode is completely insane? 1 million zillion bad glove puns later. Not the most interesting thing in the world, but silly rabbit.
Saves me a trip to the incinerator.
Fuzzy acorns, that's all we get. Gary, now I know I was right. Bet you didn't know this was a season 4 episode? If only Krabs stayed cooked forever. Ugh, indeed. Respect to Rattlers. It's like Squidward and Clarinet Land meets Toy Store of Doom. A funny Plankton plot. Good, but not special. That tongue, it comes back. It all started when I was born. Who else noticed a Tiki song at the end? Very creative yet disturbing. That Spider-Man meme finally has purpose.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Oh, thank goodness, we're finally done with the mess and into the good. These are the episodes that were pretty enjoyable and decent, but didn't exactly blow me away. Speaking of decent and good things, reminds me of all the decent and good things the awesome people on my Discord server say to me every day. Oh well, I still love them. And if you want to talk to me and all the other members in great detail in a very chill and casual environment full of a couple hundred other cartoon-loving legends like yourself, join up with the link in the description now. Now, I'm gonna go respond to some DMs. See you guys after the goods. Shalom.
Once there was an ugly barnacle. He was so ugly that everyone died. The end.
Not too garbage of an episode. It's like Wet Painters, but boring. Sponge, weirdly good. Gal Pals 2, but not Trick Boogaloo. I remember when Krabs and Plankton were good chums. At least SpongeBob's not an oblivious moron. Is this a sequel to Graveyard Shift or Rock Bottom? We should get this team up more often. Ah, Frenchie's back again, but seems a bit familiar. Also known as the YouTube Commenters episode. Gal Pals! The humor in this episode is amazing. I love this plot. Aha, Tiny Tim references. Well, you managed to kill 11 minutes. I really relish this episode. Oh wait, wrong condiment. The Bubble Bass Talk Show better be a spin-off. Everyone's a critic. So relatable. Also, Patrick is amazing.
How do Plankton's feet even reach the pedals?
Born to be mild. I want my birthday cake. This plot feels familiar. Fungus Among Us, but actually good. The French narrator looks a lot better later on. Are we back to enemy and law again? The lying moral is so easy yet so effective. It's like Squidward, but actually funny.
Firmly grasp it.
Imagine if this was written in 2021. It's like if Viacom gave Stan Lee a spin-off. Yay, they finally used the bubbles cleverly. Let's take Pat No Pay and make it awesome. I like this episode. I think it's swell. Since when does SpongeBob have a skeleton? It's like a metaphor for Nickelodeon. If it wasn't so gross, this would have been hilarious. For fast relief of indigestion, try Gush and Flush. Must be a full moon. Plankton is the best. Now this is my cup of chum. A Mr. Krabs torture episode I actually enjoy. Squidward and SpongeBob should hang out. How did this come out in 2009? I don't hate Patrick, just the boredom. Stupid Patrick ruins everything. This episode is weirder than a pickle running through molasses. Totally rad, dude. Livin, like a cartoon reviewer without bias. A clever way to bring back the secondary characters. A fast and awesome story with the usual formula. Officially the funniest modern Krabs Greed episode. Krabs looking out for SpongeBob is awesome. The Bikini Bottom kills are the bane of my existence. Bikini is still better. The rehash Bubble Buddy? Again? Really? I do not think this episode is that bad. That failure was too easy. All Reliable's back. The plot is really good. Who else discovered the word from this title? No snail puppy love on this channel. Not yet. That twist actually got me. They kept us waiting for a bubble. Hey yo! Here's Squidward. Way too overhated because of the stupid toenail scene. Aw, that's so cute.
This is like air when he hits 10,000 subscribers.
Sheldon. Ha 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 ha. A pretty relatable story. Watermelons! Remember when I reviewed Face Freeze? The characters are the best part of this one. Presenting the SpongeBob Fairly Odd Parents special. Why doesn't Sandy go to Texas? Actually, at least SpongeBob didn't turn into a snail. Alright, I'll admit this is hilarious. The concept was pretty interesting. Nice plot with an interesting fight.
Hey guys, did you know that they're, underwater?
Man, poor Squidward. Every vegan ingests lemons. Lame joke? Yeah. Patrick, don't go there, buddy. Squidward is hysterical. Patrick just makes this episode. Haha, it's a giraffe. Is this the most forgettable Mermaid Man episode? Yep.
Ah, Coconut Fred. Classic.
What is this? I'm drowning in laughter. One of Zoo Service's best episodes to date. Even the good season 6 episodes have to be weird. Pre-movie Patrick is back. The most forgettable season 1 episode? A clever and unique episode that could have ended better. Planet Sheen and SpongeBob season 6.
What's the difference?
I really wish they said Scooter testicles.
You make the episode, I review the episode, then...
I am the conch, and you should subscribe.
My name's not A.S.K.
Touch, touch, touch. I miss Good Gary episodes. Tom Kenny's hot sauce might be his best role. It's almost a mantra for modern Nickelodeon. This made crap so much funnier. One of Patrick's best lines was, "Weast." I always wondered what happened to Squidward's hair. It was so fun on hearing SpongeBob's voice, Daddy-O. SpongeBob doing opera is what we needed in this world.
Oh brother, this episode's good!
A nice simple short. Extremely good accent. Hey, it's that thing from Frankendoodle. Gotta love that song. Just a lovely and very funny tale. A nice callback to pre-movie Patrick. Turns out Pearl and SpongeBob was the ultimate ship. Patrick has started to really grow on me. Yet another awesome Tom Kenny cameo. That wallet joke was hysterical. Pretty nifty.
Have you finished those errands?
What's for dinner, Puff Mama? Chili?
What? You think I'm a sponge tuber?
I thought of something funnier than this.
All of them. To be continued 100 times.
14 minutes.
If McDonald's was in SpongeBob. Evil! If you can't do the time, don't make the episode. You gotta love this episode. Man, SpongeBob being away is so great. Oh, frick. This episode isn't really a hay and a needle stack. Just a really fun short. That ending is awesome. You know what? This is a classic.
Remember, licking doorknobs is illegal on other planets.
And here we are. Last but obviously not least, I mean, these are the best after all, the greats. These are the best episodes of SpongeBob in my eyes, and we've got episodes from all 12 seasons, which is fantastic. You know what isn't fantastic? That's right, Fiber Dysplasia Ossificans Progressiva. I should really get that checked out. I'm gonna go to the doctor real quick. Oh wait, my connective tissue won't allow me to move. Well, I'll just call Butch Hartman to come pick me up, because, you know, he's a genius when it comes to FOP. You guys continue the video. Let's get into the greats.
Come on, you know. I wumbo, you wumbo, he, she, me, wumbo. Wumboing.
I wonder if a fall from this height would be enough to kill me.
Everything's huge. Sometimes a little simplicity is all you need. Papa Bob. I am so no.
Can't please everyone.
Way too rushed to be fully awesome. This episode really popped into my heart. Oh, my Plankton. Oh, my beautiful character Plankton. Everybody stop what you're doing and watch this great episode. The ending is kind of anticlimactic. Cute, clever, and creative. What a coincidence. This episode is awesome. Dirty or clean? Vote in the comments. Can't think of a rhyme. Were the nieces gonna hang Patrick? I spy with my little eyes something that is funny.
SpongeBob. I remember when they first invented SpongeBob.
Algae's always greener plus Grandma's secret recipe somehow equals awesome. This one's pretty funny. Everything looks better in black and white. A great patty keeper. Get it? If the Krusty Krab was McDonald's. More leg doesn't belong in the trash. Great, but still overrated. Wow, how idling. It scares me how great this episode is. What's next? The broken mattress? Pointy, 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 point. A very creative episode if I do say so myself. Tom Kenny's the best voice actor ever. This will always be the best Krabs Plankton story. Didn't need to see Krabs' butt in the intro. Working? Like Larry. Those damn nematodes. This feels so pre-movie. Unpopular opinion time. This episode gets a 10, 10, 10, 10. It's like the sequel to One Course Meal.
Where's the leak, ma'am?
Episode pretty, this great is.
SpongeBob drill sergeants are the best.
Wow, ending season 7 strong. What a brilliant story with a hint of creativity. This episode clearly went to college. What a heartwarming story. Roses are red, violets are blue. This episode is hilarious. One of the only shreds of decency in season 6. A pretty clever and creative episode. What a cool way to bring back SpongeBob's sponginess. Twitter trends sure are fun. An enjoyable premise, but poor Plankton. Man, Plankton is the best. Just a nice episode all the way through. This episode's a fun ride. My leg! It's just a little slow. One of Plankton's best appearances. This episode is genius, hands down. Patrick dumb. Let's make Patrick smart. Story good. I'll take a funny, well-structured plot on a raft.
I don't get colds, I get dislikes.
Several bad puns later.
One of Patrick's best appearances thus far. Ravioli, ravioli, do not rehashioli. Haha, love that ice cream scene. Not quite my tempo. I've now officially seen Squidward scream in 13 languages. It's like Sleepy Time, but silent. I love it. Imagine ripping off this episode later on. Pretty funny and entertaining for 11 minutes. This episode is corral. Abrasive side, abrasive side. This episode is fucking hilarious. Definitely not a nasty episode. Starting the show off strong. Recommendation. One brilliant episode later. Oh no, there goes the comment section.
Blah, I hate mustard.
I love this episode. One of Squidward's funniest portrayals in the first season. Remember when I said Wumbos of all sizes? C'est un super episode. An awesome return to this beloved character. This episode really thought outside the box. This episode is the episode for you and me.
I'll have you know I watched Watch Mojo for 1 hour. I call it old and smash.
Smashing. Whatever. Communism.
I'm a sponge tuber and I'm proud.
It's a great journey to a nice climax. When Camp Coral came around just to put him down. This might just be the best Patrick episode. A truly breathtaking episode in its beautiful stop motion. They finally got Patrick's character right. Hands down the funniest Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episode. Perfect, outstanding, original, pterodactyl. Oh wait.
You like this episode, don't you, Squidward?
Squidward's dance moves have grown with meme culture.
I love a good court plot. Nosferatu is the most SpongeBob cameo ever. Is this the most famous SpongeBob episode? Don't you have to review Family Guy?
Not until 4.
Do we have to wear pickle jars?
A classic SpongeBob plot. I miss these. Where'd you get that piano?
We're not talking about this.
We're calling clickbait. Goodbye everyone, I'll remember you all in therapy. Imagine tweeting these lyrics to the masses. EGREATEPISODE. Don't be a jerk. Love this episode. Incorporates absolutely everything a SpongeBob special needs. Nothing short of brilliant. This is how you do squid torture correctly. We have technology. Frickin' brilliant. Someday, but not today.
It was his show, Nickelodeon. He was number 1.
This might just be the funniest episode ever. Feels like the very first special to me. Exquisite. The comedy has a snowball effect. One of the funniest episodes ever written. Sweet, sweet episode, yeah. One of my all-time favorites. Drown in it. My favorite Squidward episode by far. The best of the absolute best.
Goodbye, everyone. I'll remember you all in therapy.
Phew, that's every single episode of SpongeBob SquarePants, seasons 1 through 12, completely ranked from worst to best, in 10 words or less. Now that all that's done, let's get into the stats. Before that though, I'm gonna give the top and bottom 3 for every single season. Let's do this. This doesn't match my old videos as a few spots here were changed, but here you go anyway. Season 1, number 3 best, Culture Shock. Number 2, Fun. Number 1, Employee of the Month. Number 3, Worst, Jellyfish Jam. Number 2, I Was a Teenage Gary. Number 1, Squeaky Boots. For Season 2, number 3, Best, Bang Geeks. Number 2, Dying for Pie. Number 1, Squidville. Number 3, Worst, Grandma's Kisses. Number 2, I'm With Stupid. Number 1, Dumped. Season 3, number 3, Best, Chocolate with Nuts. Number 2, SpongeBob Meets the Strangler. Number 1, Can You Spare a Dime? Number 3, Worst, Clams. Number 2, Sponge You Could Fly. And number 1, Party Boober Pants. Season 4, number 3, Best, If You Ever Cry with Patty. Number 2, Krusty Towers. Number 1, Dungeons and Dragons. Number 3, Worst, The Thing. Number 2, Wake Struck. Number 1, Good Neighbors. Season 5, number 3, Best, Sing a Song of Patrick. Number 2, The Big Switch. And number 1, Roller Cowards. Number 3, Worst, Pat No Pay. Number 2, To Love a Patty. and number 1, Atlantis Scorpianus. Season 6. Number 3 best, Slumber Party. Number 2, Not Normal. Number 1, No Hat for Pat. Number 3 worst, The Splinter. Number 2, Boating Buddies. Number 1, Choir Boys. Season 7. Number 3 best, Perfect Chemistry. Number 2, Inside Job. Number 1, Abrasive Side. Number 3 worst, Yours, Mine, and Mine. Number 2, Stuck in the Ringer. Number 1, Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy. Season 8. Number 3 best is A SpongeBob Christmas. Number 2, Frozen Face Off. Number 1, Below Bikini Bottom. Number 3 worst, Are You Happy Now? Number 2, Smooth Jazz at Bikini Bottom. Number 1, Pet Sitter Pat. Season 9. Number 3 best, Jailbreak. Number 2, Sold. Number 1, Plankton's Pet. Number 3 worst, Squid Baby. Number 2, Little Yellow Book. Number 1, SpongeBob You're Fired. Season 10. Number 3 best, The Incredible Shrinking Sponge. Number 2, Mimic Madness. Number 1, Feral Friends. Number 3 worst, Code Yellow. Number 2, Housewarming. Number 1, Out of the Picture. Season 11. Number 3 best, My Leg. Number 2, Scavenger Pants. Number 1, The Legend of Bikini Bottom. Number 3 worst, Man Ray Returns. Number 2, Squirrel Jelly. Number 1, Ink Lemonade. Season 12. Number 3 best, Pandemonium. Number 2, Squids on a Bus. And number 1, Dream Hoppers. Number 3 worst, SpongeBob's Bad Habit. Number 2, Gary's Got Legs. And number 1, Gary and Spot. Now that all the season top and bottom 3s are done, time for the overall show top and bottom 10. I was gonna prolong this segment with episode reviews and commentary, but I realized it would probably be boring for you guys to watch, so I'll just list them instead. I'll start with the top 10. Number 10, Dungeons and Dragons. Number 9, One Crowd's Trash. Number 8, Christmas Who. Number 7, Schoolyam Returns. Number 6, Snowball Effect. Number 5, SpongeBob Meets the Strangler. Number 4, Band Geeks. Number 3, Dying for Pie. Number 2, Squidville. And number 1 best episode of SpongeBob is Can You Spare a Dime? Bottom 10. Number 10, Yours, Mine, and Mine. Number 9, Good Neighbors. Number 8, Cephalopod Lodge. Number 7, Stuck in the Ringer. Number 6, Smooth Jazz at Bikini Bottom. Number 5, Pet Sitter Pat. Number 4, SpongeBob You're Fired. Number 3, Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy. Number 2, Wedding Buddies. And number 1 worst episode of SpongeBob is Choir Boys. And now, as promised, time for the season statistics. In season 1, we had 18 greats, 18 goods, 4 mess, 1 bad, and 0 boos. If you do the math on these, the score for season 1 is 82%. For season 2, we had 18 greats, 14 goods, 7 mess, 0 bads, and 0 boos. Also 82%. For season 3, 17 greats, 16 goods, 4 mess, 0 bads, 0 boos. This brings season 3 to the top of the list with 84%. Season 4, 10 greats, 9 goods, 11 mess, 3 bads, and 5 boos. 61%. Season 5, 8 greats, 10 goods, 11 mess, 7 bads, 5 boos. 55%. Season 6, 6 greats, 9 goods, 9 mess, 13 bads, and 10 boos. 44%. Season 7, 5 greats, 7 goods, 15 mess, 14 bads, 9 boos. 43%. Season 8, 8 greats, 8 goods, 12 mess, 9 bads, 10 boos. 47%. Season 9, 5 greats, 13 goods, 13 mess, 13 bads, 5 boos. 50%. Season 10, 4 greats, 6 goods, 8 mess, 3 bads, 1 boo. 60%. Season 11, we had 14 greats, 17 goods, 12 mess, 7 bads, 0 boos. 69%. And finally, season 12, 17 greats, 13 goods, 13 mess, 5 bads, 0 boos. 72%. Now that all those scores have been revealed, let me tell you what this all means, and let's look at what the show's quality looks like. As you can see, it definitely never returned to the golden age of the pre-movie era, and even if the score does, it's definitely not capturing that charm ever again. But it definitely shows hope that this show managed to get out of the rut it was in for the middle seasons. In terms of ranking, according to my scores, the order from worst to best is season 3, 2, 1, 12, 11, 4, 10, 5, 9, 8, 6, and 7. Looking back from my own personal biases, I think the newer seasons are way too high on the list, and I would move season 4 and 8 up a lot more, but other than that, this seems pretty accurate. If you're curious, my list would go something like 3, 2, 1, 4, 8, 5, 12, 11, 10, 9, 6, and 7.
You're going down, Tubby.
Tubby?
I'll cut off your nutsack and nail it to my door!
And that, ladies and jellyfish, is every single episode of SpongeBob seasons 1 to 12 ranked from worst to best in 10 words or less. As you saw, I remastered most of the first 5 seasons and remade a lot of the ratings, ranked all of them from worst to best, gave a top and bottom 3 on each season, gave a top and bottom 10 for the entire series, and ranked every season from worst to best based on my statistics. If you want more detail, I'd encourage you to check out my other 13 videos on the topic, as well as my slew of other SpongeBob videos, all of which I've linked in the description below and card above. I've talked about SpongeBob so many times over these 5 years on YouTube that this will officially be my last SpongeBob video. I hope I fit enough content in this one video to make it all worth it. I think this is an important transition in my channel, and unless some new SpongeBob content aired or comes out, I'm pretty much done with this show for the time being. With that said, please be sure to join the Discord server to talk with a couple hundred other cartoon-loving legends like yourself. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. A.S.K to hear me complain about everything in the universe 24/7. Like this video and share it would really help me out, and subscribe with all notifications to support all the pain I went through editing this for months, and leave all your opinions on my rankings in the comments down below. With that said, thanks a lot to Mr. Kid, Sam D, Ellis Mark, Just Stop, CR Martin, Dalsmic, Andrew IG, Veritas Joe, and Phantom Strider for lending their beautiful voices as cameos in this video. Their links will be below, so go and support them. And if you want to catch up on some of my ratings and sentences for certain episodes you might have forgotten, be sure to check out the rating spreadsheet, which I've also linked in the description, full of all the episodes with its rating and sentence. I've been A.S.K, thank you so freaking much for watching, and I'll see you beautiful ladies and jellyfish next time. Shalom everybody.
As long as there are stars in the sky, SpongeBob will live on in our hearts and in our minds. Now get lost. I mean, bye. No, really, get lost.
SpongeBob! SpongeBob!